Hi, this is Lifeline for the Frontline, and I'm Kelly Nicholson. Today I'm going to be talking about occupational stress injury. What is it? So, occupational stress injury, or operational stress injury, as they're interchangeably called, are any persistent psychological difficulties resulting from operational duties. So what that means in plain terms is any mental health issues experienced as a result of doing our jobs. So I think it's important to note here because a lot of people have a lot of questions about WSIB. So WSIB terms occupational stress injury differently, and they call it traumatic mental stress. And for WSIB, the traumatic stress has to be a result of an objectively traumatizing incident. For Lifeline for the Frontline, OSI can be anything from experiencing an objectively traumatizing incident like an MVC fatality or a threat to your life and safety, or it can be something a little less obvious as stressors that come from the culture or the negativity in the cultural environment of where you work, or promotional processes can cause a lot of stress and just the overall negativity. And in the middle of that sort of continuum, there's also stressors that we experience as a result of being exposed to the chronic sadness of other people's circumstances. We sort of call that moral injury. So we come to scenes or we're exposed to incidents that are chronically sad or are distressing for us on a regular basis because it really sort of shakes our core or touches us on a deeper level. And that chronic exposure to that kind of stress can also be very difficult for the psyche and very difficult for people to sort of manage and negotiate long term. So the four common types of occupational stress injury are PTSD, which we'll talk about in another video, addictions, which is very common response to occupational stress injury, anxiety disorders, and mood disorders. Some of the symptoms of occupational stress injury are things like flashbacks and sleep disturbances and exaggerated startle responses, which is, sort of being startled by things like people calling your name or someone saying something to you unexpectedly, or a loud noise might cause you to startle really easily. And so that's some of the more obvious symptoms of occupational stress injury. But some of the less obvious signs are things like isolation and avoidance of being around other people or social situations, or a loss of interest in things that we used to love. And I think it's important, and I'll cover a lot of that in the next video, because the next video is, do I have an occupational stress injury? And it's really important for us to recognize when we have those symptoms, because it's really easy to say, check, I have this, I have that. But actually recognizing it is, in my opinion, one of the most difficult things about identifying any kind of mental health condition, is identifying the symptoms in yourself. So that's one of the things that I'll go into detail about in the next video, because identification is harder than we think. For more information, please visit mylifeline.ca or YouTube, Lifeline for the Frontline. And thanks for watching.